Our movie today starts in the world of dinosaurs, and in this world we see a group of vegetarian dinosaurs, and we understand that they feed on plants and leaves of trees, and they are peaceful and live a very happy life together. On the other hand, we see mothers worried about their eggs, and at this time a small dinosaur comes and keeps playing next to them. Then one of the mothers is afraid that he will break the eggs and tries to keep him away from her. And when this little dinosaur sees a certain bird, he tries to play with him, but the bird is afraid of him and leaves him and flies away. So the little dinosaur keeps running after him until he reaches the bird, but the bird is afraid of him and leaves him and flies away. The little dinosaur runs after him until he reaches a distant forest, and that little dinosaur is shocked when he sees a very terrifying and scary dinosaur. And at this time we understand that there is a type of dinosaur called Carnotaurus, which is a very wild and predatory species, and they also feed on meat to the point that they can eat each other. At this time, the little dinosaur runs quickly and tries to escape from the forest, but the monstrous Carnotaurus runs after him and continues to chase him until he reaches the place of the dinosaur group, and there panic spreads among all the dinosaurs, who are very afraid and try to escape from him. In the meantime, the monstrous Taurus tramples on the nest of eggs and destroys it, but fortunately one of their eggs is still unbroken, and at that time the monstrous Taurus manages to pounce on a weak dinosaur and eat it. At this time, another predatory dinosaur comes and takes the egg and walks and quickly enters the forest and tries to break it but can't. Suddenly another dinosaur comes and takes it from him to eat it, and the two continue to fight over it until it falls into the sea. Then a crocodile-like marine animal comes and approaches the egg to eat it, but doesn't catch it. The egg passes in front of another group of dinosaurs, but they are also unable to catch it. The egg continues to float on the water and moves from one place to another until a bird comes and grabs it and flies it for a very long distance until it reaches a nest of small birds that the birds go after to take it from him. Then the bird gets busy and accidentally drops the egg on the island of monkeys. On this island, we see a family of monkeys who are very surprised when they see this egg. At this time, we see the monkey named Plore. She has 2 children, Sonari and Zeni, who are very surprised by the shape of the egg. Then her father, the leader of the monkeys named Yarrow, comes and warns her constantly. But she does not pay attention to what he says and approaches the egg more, and suddenly, the egg begins to hatch and continues to examine it with surprise. And at this time, Yarrow approaches it and does not know which egg it is. Then everyone is shocked when they discover that it is the egg of a small dinosaur. So Yarrow is terrified and says that this is a predatory dinosaur. He continues to scare the other monkeys, telling them that dinosaurs have attacked them many times before. Plio tells him that this is a baby dinosaur and that it is impossible for it to be evil or predatory. Yarrow tells her that the little boy will definitely grow up, and that the next day will definitely come. He grows up and eats them all, and orders her to get rid of him as soon as possible, because Plio knows her father is kind. She gives him the dinosaur and tells him to get rid of it himself. Yarrow takes the dinosaur and tries to throw it out of the tree, but before he does, he looks at it and sympathizes with it. He can't get rid of it either. At this time, Plio comes and tells him that they should keep him and not worry about him. We will teach him how to live like us, so that he can become a vegetarian dinosaur. She raises him among her children, takes care of him, and decides to name him Lithosaurus. After a long time, we see a giant dinosaur attacking 3 small monkeys, and this dinosaur keeps running after them until it catches and eats one of them and manages to trap the other 2 monkeys. This is when we find out that this dinosaur is Lithosaurus. It turns out that he didn't eat the monkeys. He was just playing with the little monkeys and nothing more. They're all playing together and they're very happy. Meanwhile, Plio comes along and keeps watching them from afar and seems very happy with Lithosaurus. She goes to him and tells him that the mating season has begun and asks him to go and bring her son, Zeni, from in front of the sea. And indeed, Lithosaurus set off and went to Zeni, who we see practicing to find the one she loves during the mating season. And at that time, Lithosaurus takes Zeni, and they set off to go to the monkey leaders' meeting. And at that time, we see Yarrow giving all the male monkeys advice on how to choose a life partner during the mating season. And on the other hand, we see Plio, she giving all the female monkeys advice and teaching them how to choose the right life partner. And after a while, Lithosaurus comes and gathers all the monkeys to start the mating season celebration. And indeed, the celebration begins, and the monkeys start dancing together, and we see them all very happy and satisfied. And after the end of the celebration, Lithosaurus sees Zenny sitting alone, and he is very sad because he did not find his life partner at the same time. Lithosaurus approaches him and continues to console him and tells him that he will definitely find his life partner in the next season. From afar, we see Yarrow and Pleo watching them. Then Yarrow tells Pleo that he feels very sorry for Zenny, and that this is because he is the only monkey among all the monkeys who has not been able to find a life partner. Then Pleo responds and tells him that he is not the only one, and that she hopes to find a life partner for Lithosaurus as well. Pleo goes to Lithosaurus and approaches him and tells him that she wants to reassure him and see that he has a family too. Lithosaurus replies and tells her that he is not interested in this matter now, and it is enough for him to live among them, and he is happy with that. And while they are talking, they see a group of meteors in the sky. All the monkeys are amazed and surprised when they see their shape and do not understand what they are and what caused them to appear, until they see a meteor close to them and discover that it is a giant rock that falls in front of them in the sea and causes a very large explosion. They are amazed and surprised when they see their shape and do not understand what they are and why they appear, until they see a meteor close to them and discover that it is a giant rock that falls in front of them in the sea and causes a very large explosion that terrifies all the monkeys, and they try to escape quickly, but unfortunately the meteors approach them and are about to destroy them. Lithosaurus runs quickly and saves Ceneri before the meteor falls on her. He also takes Ceneri, Yarrow, Zenny, and Pleo and runs away quickly. Lithosaurus continues to run through the forest and is very afraid of the approaching meteors. Suddenly, the meteors reach the forest, and there are so many of them that they start burning the trees and destroying the forest. Suddenly, a huge meteor comes and hits the tree next to Lithosaurus, and he falls to the ground. Although he is unable to get up, he takes Ceneri, Yarrow, Zenny, and Pleo, and continues his escape, continuing to run fast from the meteors chasing him until he reaches the edge of the cliff. When Lithosaurus notices that a meteor is approaching them, he is forced to jump into the sea. And at this time, a wave comes and pulls the monkeys away from him, and Lithosaurus keeps trying to approach them, but he cannot. And after a while, the meteors calm down and stop completely, and Lithosaurus manages to save the monkeys, and they all get out of the water. And at that time, Lithosaurus notices that he is very tired, and when he comes to look at the island, he finds it burnt and completely destroyed. And at that time, they feel very sad for all the monkeys who died as a result of what happened. At that time, they feel very sad for all the monkeys that died as a result of what happened. And after a while, they decide to leave this place in order to search for a new place to live. And after a long time, they all reach a strange desert place, where they are shocked when they see a group of predatory dinosaurs all gather around Lithosaurus and surround him in order to attack him. The Lithosaurus ran quickly and tried to escape from them, but the predatory dinosaurs continued to chase him and attack him violently. Yarrow stumbles and almost falls off the Lithosaurus' back, but Pleo catches up with him and saves him at the last minute. Suddenly, a strong wind came and approached them, making the predatory dinosaurs get scared and run away quickly. The Lithosaurus was surprised to see a large herd of herbivorous dinosaurs approaching them, and the leader of the herd, Chrono, shouted at the Lithosaurus and ordered him to move quickly and widen their path. The Lithosaurus got up and entered the middle of the herd. Then Lithosaur. He is very moved when he sees many types of giant dinosaurs. Then Lithosaurus sees the predatory dinosaurs approaching him and is forced to join the herd in order to escape them. After a while, we see the herd walking in the mountains. Chrono tells his assistant named Broughton that they will have to rest here and that they will continue on their way the next day once the sun rises. Broughton calls out loudly to the herd and informs them that they will rest here and that they will continue on their way as soon as the sun rises. At this time, Lithosaurus approaches two dinosaurs named Emma and Blaine and asks them, "Where are they going?" Emma tells him that they are heading to a safe and beautiful place called Shelterland to escape the wild dinosaurs that want to eat them. Blaine then tells him that Chrono is the leader of the dinosaur herd and that he is a very cruel dinosaur who is willing to sacrifice all the sick and weak dinosaurs. At this time, Chrono and Broughton come and approach them. Lithosaurus goes to him and introduces himself and asks him to rest for a while. This is because the sick and weak dinosaurs must join the herd. Chrono mocks him and makes fun of his words, telling him that sick and weak dinosaurs deserve to die, and leaves him and walks away. Chrono's sister, Nera, then goes to Lithosaurus and tells him that Chrono is a bit of a nervous dinosaur. He treats all the new dinosaurs this way, and at that time, Nera seems to like Lithosaurus, so Lithosaurus goes back to his friends and tells them that they have to do what Chrono says so that they can escape the predatory dinosaurs. At this time, we see these dinosaurs watching them from afar, and the next day, the dinosaurs wake up and they all gather. Kron, on the other hand, seems very upset, so he goes to the Lithosaurus and orders it to move quickly. Meanwhile, Zenny tells Lithosaurus that Kron's sister Nira is very beautiful and is suitable to be his life partner. Lithosaurus doesn't care and continues on his way. Chrono then tells Broughton that there is a group in the herd that is very slow and that they can't slow down or stop for anyone at all. Broughton then tells the herd that none of them will drink water until they go to the other side of the mountain and find the lake. He then warns them that if they don't move quickly, the ferocious dinosaurs will come and devour them. The herd of dinosaurs ran faster, but after a while, they looked very tired. This was due to the high temperature and lack of water. They all kept walking until it got dark. At that moment, one member of the herd fell to the ground from exhaustion. The rest of the dinosaur herd left him and walked away. At that moment, the predatory dinosaurs came and pounced on him. The next day, the dinosaur herd was very tired. At that moment, the Lithosaurus helped Emma and encouraged her to continue on their way. On the other hand, we see the predatory dinosaurs after they eat the dinosaur that fell from the herd. And suddenly we see two predatory dinosaurs walking behind the herd. And after a very long journey, the dinosaur herd manages to reach the other side of the mountain. And they are all very happy because they are close to the lake. But suddenly they are shocked when they find that the lake has completely evaporated. Then Chrono asks Broughton to take his assistant and leave. And they go together to another place that still has water. And he orders the rest of the herd to move to continue on their way. And they go together to another place that still has water. And he orders the rest of the herd to move to continue their way. So Nira goes to talk to Chrono and explains to him that they will not be able to continue their way without water. And even if that happens, half the herd will die. So Chrono tells her that even if they don't sacrifice half the herd, it is because the remaining half of the herd deserves to live. And on the other hand, Emma will be very sad. She tells her friends that in the past, there was water around them and that she can no longer live like this. Lithosaurus goes to her and continues to console and encourage her, and tells her that they must continue on their way. And while they are walking, Lithosaurus hears a strange sound coming from the ground and asks Balin to move from her place, and that Lithosaurus dug where her leg print was. Suddenly water appears and comes out of the hole, which makes Lithosaurus and Balin happy. The monkeys call Emma to drink, and the Lithosaurus makes a loud sound to attract the attention of the herd and calls them to come and drink as well. And when the herd approaches the water, Chrono intervenes and prevents them from drinking, and he prefers to drink alone. And at this time, the Lithosaurus tries to organize the herd, and Nero worries about him and sees what he is doing. And at another place, we see Broughton and his assistant looking for a place with water. And at this time we see the predatory dinosaur Taurus watching them from afar. And suddenly two predatory dinosaurs appear and attack Broughton and his assistant, and attack them very violently. Then we return to the herd of dinosaurs, and we see Lithosaurus trying to reassure the young dinosaurs and help them. This time, Nero watches them from afar, and it turns out that she is very impressed with Lithosaurus, and she approaches him and the two of them start talking to each other. Then Lithosaurus comes and tells her that they cannot leave the sick and weak dinosaurs and walk. Nira then tells him that this is their nature and that they have to overcome these difficulties. But Lithosaurus convinces her with his words, and they both drink some water. At that time they seem to love each other. When the monkeys see Lithosaurus and Nira, they become very happy. This is because Lithosaurus may have found his life partner. Chrono, on the other hand, is watching them from afar and seems very annoyed. Suddenly, the assistant who was with Broughton comes over and tells Chrono that the predatory dinosaurs are very close to them. Chrono tells him that this can't be happening. That's because they weren't here before. They were driven out of the place where they used to live by meteors. Suddenly, they both hear the sound of predatory dinosaurs approaching. And Chrono gets very angry and yells at the assistant. This is because he directed them to the location of the herd and ordered him to move the herd quickly before the dinosaurs approached them. Meanwhile, Lithosaurus and Nira go to Chrono, and Lithosaurus asks him to wait until he tells his friends that they have to move. But Chrono rejects the idea and tells him that he must sacrifice them so that the rest of the herd can live at that time. Lithosaurus calls the herd and tells them that they should wait for his friends and that one day they might be the ones in their place. Chrono becomes very fanatical and attacks Lithosaurus, knocking him to the ground and threatening to kill him if he tries to interfere again. He prevents Nira from helping Lithosaurus and takes her and walks away. Lithosaurus quickly gets up and goes to warn his friends and tells them that the predatory dinosaurs are very close to them. Lithosaurus and his friends take off to escape quickly, and at night we see that the predatory dinosaurs have reached the place where the herd was, and they go to drink water and prepare to continue their way. And in another place, we see Lithosaurus and his friends walking alone, and because they are very slow, the herd is very far from them, and they get scared when they hear a strange sound coming from the cave next to them. When Lithosaurus approaches the source of the sound, he discovers that it is Broughton, who seems injured and unable to move. Lithosaurus approaches him and decides to help him until he takes him with them. Broughton tells him that he does not need anything, and that he knows that this is his fate, and orders him to leave him and walk. But Lithosaurus does not listen to him and tells him that if he changes his mind, he will find them in the cave next to him. At this time, a very strong storm comes. The rain starts falling. Then Lithosaurus sees Broughton standing in the rain, so he goes quickly to help him, and they enter the cave. Then Plore goes to Broughton and approaches him and starts treating his wounds using the plants in the cave. And Broughton asks her, why does Lithosaurus help sick and weak dinosaurs even though their fate is death, and what he is doing to them is a false hope? Then Plore makes him understand that this is not a false hope, and that his fate will be death in one case, if he is the one who decides to give in to death, and that he should be more patient in life. On the other hand, we see predatory dinosaurs approaching the cave, and when Lithosaurus hears and sees them, he wakes up his friends. Suddenly, the predatory dinosaurs are alerted to their presence and quickly enter the cave and attack them. When Lithosaurus tries to save Emma from the predatory dinosaurs, they attack him and pounce on him and are about to kill him. But suddenly, Broughton comes and defends him and orders Lithosaurus to escape with his friends and tells him that he will try to distract the predatory dinosaurs. And indeed, Lithosaurus escapes with his friends and runs inside the cave. And when Broughton cannot find a solution, he goes and hits a rock to separate his friends from the predatory dinosaurs, and the cave collapses and rocks fall on Broughton and the predatory dinosaurs. And at that moment, Broughton decides to sacrifice himself so that others can live, and thus Broughton decides to die a hero. And after the collapse of the cave, Lithosaurus goes to Broughton and finds him unfortunately dead. So Lithosaurus grieves for him a lot, and suddenly he notices that one of the predatory dinosaurs is still alive and decides to take his friends and escape quickly. And on the other hand, we see the predatory dinosaur coming out from under the rubble and decides to take revenge on the dinosaurs that killed his brother. Meanwhile, Lithosaurus and his friends reach the end of the cave, and they are all surprised to see that the cave's exit is blocked by huge boulders. Lithosaurus then tries to destroy these boulders, but after many attempts, he can't. Lithosaurus succumbs to death. Balin approaches him and encourages him, telling him that they will surely find a solution. But they can't give up. She starts hitting the rocks with great force. At this time, the rest of her friends join her, and they all challenge each other. In fact, they manage to destroy the rocks, and finally, they reach the land of the shelter, and they're all amazed when they see it. They are very happy, and they all continue to play with each other. After a while, the Lithosaurus sees the road that the herd is supposed to come from, and he is surprised when he notices that there is a very high dividing wall and that it is impossible for them to pass through. He decides to go back to the herd again to show them the way he came from before the predatory dinosaur reaches them. On the other hand, the herd reaches the dividing wall. Then Chrono tells Nira that they will climb this wall tomorrow. Nira is surprised that most of the herd will not be able to climb this wall. At this time, we see Lithosaurus coming out of the cave. When he notices a predatory dinosaur approaching, he quickly hides. Then the predatory dinosaur goes to eat a dead Broughton, and the Lithosaurus escapes and runs quickly to catch up with the herd. And on the second day, Chrono tells the herd that they have to move and climb the wall, and the entire herd does not know how they will be able to climb this wall. And suddenly the Lithosaurus arrives and warns them that a predator is approaching them and asks them to come with him to take them to the refuge land in a different way. Chrono then refuses to let the herd go with Lithosaurus. When Lithosaurus tells the herd that they must go with him, Chrono gets very angry and starts attacking and assaulting Lithosaurus. A very violent battle ensues, and Chrono almost kills the Lithosaurus. Nera intervenes and hits Chrono and saves the Lithosaurus, and Chrono is shocked and very sad that his sister chose the Lithosaurus. Then all the dinosaurs in the herd leave Chrono and go with the Lithosaurus. Suddenly they all hear a scary sound and become very frightened. Then the predatory dinosaur Taurus appears in the distance, and all the dinosaurs are very afraid of him. Chrono tells them that they should run away quickly. Lithosaurus tells them that they can't run away and that they have to stick together. So Lithosaurus takes off and makes a loud noise to scare Taurus away. Then Nera joins him. When the rest of the herd notices the predators retreat, they continue to make loud noises and unite with each other and surround it. Then the predator gets scared and moves away from them. When the predator sees Chrono climbing the wall alone, it quickly goes to him. Then Lithosaurus and Nera go after him to save Chrono. And when Chrono notices this, he tries to run away quickly. Then the predator climbs the wall behind him. Chrono then climbs to the top of the wall and discovers that there is a gap between it and the real wall, and realizes that what Lithosaurus said was true. The predatory dinosaur then comes and surrounds Chrono, and a very violent battle begins between them. Before the Tyrannosaurus Rex kills Chrono, Nera intervenes and hits him, and she and Lithosaurus join forces and attack him. But the predatory dinosaur is much stronger than them and manages to defeat them and knock them to the ground. Lithosaurus gets excited and attacks him, and just before the predatory dinosaur kills him, the edge of the wall he is standing on collapses and takes him and falls. He tries to take Lithosaurus with him, but Lithosaurus manages to save himself at the last moment. He looks at the gap between the wall and realizes that the Tyrannosaurus Rex is dead. Lithosaurus and Nera quickly go to check on Chrono, but unfortunately, he too is dead. Lithosaurus then leads the herd all the way to the land of refuge, and they all live there out of danger. Over a long period of time, we see Zenny find his life partner. We see Lithosaurus and Nera inspecting their eggs as they hatch and emerge, the first son of Lithosaurus and Nera. Finally, all the dinosaurs live in love and peace after a long journey to escape danger. Don't forget to subscribe to our Movie Plore channel on YouTube. And that's all. Bye.